Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to Super Formula Suzuka. So that's a somewhat unrealistic camera view, isn't it? Here we go. That's a far bit better. As we roll out for qualifying for Super Formula Suzuka. Going to be quickly sharing the link around to everybody, getting some hype about it. Getting everyone keen to be watching. Once again, some Imitation Games action. And a stacked grid once again tonight. It was looking unlikely. We poached up to 15 very, very late indeed. And out of nowhere, we've got a full contingent of absolute quality drivers in front of us tonight, which I, for one, am very excited to be keeping an eye on. Of course, two of those drivers here in front of us. Tank, we see this man a lot. We see him doing a lot. He's a very, very active member of the Oceania sim racing community for Gran Turismo, and even ACC as well. We've seen him turn a hand to that from time to time. And a man who has familiarised himself very, very well with ACC. Behind him, Matt Donetti, Oden there in the Andretti livery, I believe it is. So, bringing a touch of America over to the Japans. So, very cool there to see Matt Donetti repping the Champ car. I'm not actually sure whether that was a Champ car or an early IndyCar livery. I'm a little bit behind on my information on that one. I'll have to quiz him on it later on. Very, very cool indeed, as these two look like they are leaders as we start the first laps of the session. 10 minutes around Suzuka. No timers on the screen for some reason, but I can tell you it is most definitely 10-minute session that these guys have. Max attack, no tyre wear, only fuel wear, and a little bit of overtake burn as well. These guys will be well and truly on it. These are high downforce cars, lots of speed, lots of grip as you see them chuck it through the S's. And it's so cool to see these cars at max attack through here. It is a full commitment section of road, and just one of those tracks you love to get right. And there, the famous Suzuka Ferris wheel in the background is Matt Donetti there. Looks like he was running a touch wide through the first Degner. Just looked a little untidy through the second one. Perhaps Tank ahead of him just gapped out a little bit. Too bad, all things considered. We'll go back to our man third on the road at the moment, Jono Stan, who's making quite the habit of showing up on a Monday, and he's having his first try at Super Formulas in GT7, and what a livery he's given to us tonight, that Red Bull Red Edition. And that is, wow, that is a feast for the eyes. Red Bull special liveries usually are quite something, but that is, that's gorgeous, to be honest. Jono will be hoping to get a good result tonight. He's quite a fan of the Super Formula cars. Always been someone who really revels in the higher downforce vehicles. And these cars are, without going too far and putting too much on him, his bread and butter. There we go, Tank laying it down for the first lap, 35.9. Not really sure where that's like as a reference. Matt Donetti there, a second behind with a 36.9. Jono Stan coming across the line. Look like he'll be the 37. So a 7.7 there for Jono. It's going to be Rooz debutant Archangel, comes across after that. Stingray went to P2 there with a 36.7. Ridwan quickly beats him with a 36.2. Archangel ended up 7th with a 44.3. Everyone's sifting through. Odin still remains in 4th. Thunder Heafy, he's joining us tonight with a 37.2, and I think Ridwan may have forgotten the rules because he's just jumped back. Unless he doesn't come out. Just have to keep an eye on that, because you cannot come back out. Okay, and I've just been reported that Jono has actually come back. Right, so one rule actually for the Super 4 was is that pits are closed during quali. So I'm just got to keep an eye on those guys who have potentially come back out. And I'm going to have to write a message in as well, just to let everyone know and remind them. I love doing admin duties while trying to stream. It is so much fun. Alright, apologies while I deal with admin. Well, might as well keep an eye on someone who is on track. Prying Stingray, who at least has kept a little bit of overtake in the bank. Is actually still lapping. This is actually shaken up qualifying quite a fair amount. We're going to get a lot of people now probably out of position from where they should be. There we go, average dad just going better there to P6. So this is going to be quite a shaken up grid. Of course, we've got those guys who've gone out straight away and just smashed one out with the overtake. And unfortunately have just been caught out by the rules of not being able to come back out. So that would be, of course, your top two, Tank and Rid one, both the FR Racing drivers. Prying Stingray has left it till late, so he's probably got this one right. He's still got a bag full of overtake to go and chase these two in front, and he's already in P3, so that's not too bad at all. Odin's managed to bank a P4 as there. That was Sways off in the gravel at Degna 2, I beg your pardon. So that's not ideal for him. I don't believe it affected Stingray too much. Heafy was still going. He's out of overtake, but he might still improve. That's a pretty decent banker though, with 37.2. Average Dad's still got a little bit of overtake to try and go better as well. He could improve from 6th. Just have to keep an eye on him. John O'Stan's burnt it. He has gone back. Sways, of course, we just saw in the gravel. And that Mercedes livery as well. That's quite nice. Scozzy's already in. Banana Cake Pie has left it till late. That's good. He's got a little bit in the tank still. And up as well, so keep an eye on Banana Cake Pie. I do actually want to flick back to Prying Stingray as he throws it through 130R. Has he left enough in the tank to go quicker? Snorksel there improving to a 39 flat, so there's still stuff going on late in this session. A reminder as well, that is the idea of not pitting during this session. Of course, pits are closed, meaning once you come out, you can also, once you return to the pits, I beg your pardon, you cannot come back out. And that's Stingray's qualifying over as he struggles to go better. Heafy's come in as well. Average Dad still on track, still with overtake, so Average Dad potential to go quicker. Sways now should be improving on his lap. Snorksel as well. Banana Cake Pie there improving. He goes up to 9th position. We'll just look back. We haven't seen Greeny yet this session. Greeny's still with overtake in the bag. And Savage Duck behind him. Blaze in the pit lane. And Archangel as well. Falling foul to that rule. So very few people left out on circuit. We are now on our final laps. as Savage Duck chasing that 1.8 second gap to Greeny. And he is up, or is down only slightly. Banana Cake Pie down as well in the first sector. We'll jump on to Sways, who was following Average Dad. These two, not too bad at all for their first attempt at Super Formula. Sways is actually up. He will need a little bit more than that to try and eclipse the 37.7 from John O'Stan. Nearly a second. He's put on Sways in 8th. Here, out of the Casio triangle, down towards the line. Average Dad as well in front of him. Will he improve from 6th position? He does not. Sways, though, does grab a 10th. Just closes that gap, potentially defending from Banana Cake Pie, who isn't too far away at all, but looks like he's lost time on this lap. Savage Duck goes quicker with a 40.9, and only Banana Cake Pie left to go. Another great looking livery. Can't give him too much credit. He will undoubtedly tell me that it is stolen. And across the line, 40.6 in the end, only 2 seconds off with no boost. So not too bad there for the 42 entry. And that is qualifying run and one. A little bit of a scrappy one. I think everyone just not too familiar with the rules for this one. A lot of these people making their debut. Nonetheless, congratulations to Paquitas, Tank, Adam L. Zane for grabbing pole position for that one. 35.9, which is just over 3/10 ahead of his teammate Ridwan in 2nd position. And a very, very nice way to put your name on the first pole position of Imitation Games Super Formula here at Suzuka. Two side-by-side action. Should be finishing up any time. Is quite the wait for the end of qualifying because we have so many people in the pit lane. And we should be over and out. There we go. Finally done with that, and it is Tank who starts on pole position. Alright. Just give him a quick little rev up about the tyres. Hello, Snorks. There we go. That is most certainly a shaken up grid. Still, the top 4 I probably expected from that one. It would be nice to get some rain in this one, actually. Remember that the last time we came here last season, I believe we did get a little bit of a shower, which mixed things up just a little bit. this should be about our start. Here we go. Trigger the start. Lots of good lucks. Have a clean race going about. But everyone thinks the same. This could be a chaotic first corner. Super Formula's plying into turn one. Has always been quite the view. Here we go. It's an FR Racing front row. Stingray and Odin in behind. And what are we going to see tonight, ladies and gentlemen? 36 laps should be just shy of an hour around the Japanese Grand Prix circuit. Lights are on. 4 lights. 5 lights. Lights out and away we go. Tank and Ridwan getting a pretty even start. Tank using the overtake straight away as Stingray trying to pull alongside Ridwan. Tank tries to go defensive, doesn't need it in the end and leads into turn one as the field follows. Looks like a couple shake-ups further back in the grid. Everyone keeping it relatively clean so far as they all filter through the S's now. Scozzy and Banana Cake Pie going side by side. Plenty of space being left there at the moment. All these guys right now just need to be so careful not to lay in too early. Don't light up the rears. So easy to rotate these. As actually there's been chaos at the back. There's a few cars already rotated. Savage Duck. Odin somehow has gotten involved in it and he is probably done with that one. 36 laps. That is a hell of a way to make it all up. We'll have to go and check in on what happened there afterwards. I lost him from the top 4 as Heafy there's inherited 4th position. John O'Stan steps up into 5th as Sways in 6th. Average Dad in 7th and Banana Cake Pie in 8th. All happening on the first lap. Absolute chaos. And Savage Duck left behind with Blaze and Odin. Odin is going to continue on. Not a happy camper though behind the wheel of that Andretti IndyCar style Super Formula as it's still an FR Racing 1-2 at the front with Stingray in behind in that Honda. Couple different tyre strategies at play as well. Going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on that and see how people manage over the 36 laps in regards to what they're going to do. Are they going to wait for rain or are they going to wait for the pack to open up and get a little bit of clean air as they need to ultimately filter back? Fuel shouldn't be an issue, only 1 times fuel wear. So all these guys, especially after this first lap, as they see, as we just saw, I believe, Banana Cake Pie making a mistake there at the final chicane. I'm not even sure it was him, but he is on the back of Scozzy using the overtake right now, trying to get down the inside. Sparks flying as he throws it down the inside and grabs P8 on the second lap of the race. And that was Snorksel as well. Very aggressive down the inside of Scozzy. He's thinking as well, this early, I might as well get into it. And there he goes, Scozzy and Snorksel getting into it, banging wheels as they go. Scozzy's in the dirt, and now Greeny's all over him. These two, of course, very good mates. Not going to poke each other off the track, I don't think. But that was a little bit of hip and shoulder nice and early. Good evening, Lemon. That is very true. This top 3 probably isn't too unexpected whatsoever. Just take a second here. As we back now live with the leaders. Apologies for that. A little bit of a technical issue. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to hinder us going forward. Oh, as we've got a rotator there, actually a little bit further back, and it's Greeny. Oh, Greeny, who was making inroads on the back. Of course, we just saw him on Scozzy, very close to Snorksel as well. And the Red Bull livery car has rotated to the rear of the field. So P12 now for Greeny. And we're going to take this opportunity now just to try and see if we can catch what happened to Odin. As the field here coming through. And that's actually the wrong one. We've already lost him, actually. So there's damage on the rear of Savage Duck. As we'll just see if we can maybe grab it again. We'll go back one more time. And it's already happened. So Odin very early on. Something happened to these guys. Not quite sure what it is. I'm sure we'll see it and hear about it in the replays. But one of our big challenges very, very early on. 30 seconds off the lead, and very disappointing as well to see. It would have been awesome to have him on the back of this top 3. Nonetheless, these things happen as we've got someone bowling a wide there at turn 1. It's JC Blaze, who I believe has just rotated, as there we go, on board, and he is rejoining the circuit now. These super formulas, not very forgiving at all. Very, very hard cars to drive, as he now rejoins. Still in 15th. It's going to be a long night for Blaze, who I hope does manage to learn something along the way. There's never really a dull moment in these cars. You do always manage to find some sort of way to enjoy yourself, or some sort of way to learn about what's going on with them. As Jono stand there, he's elevated up into 4th. We must have had Heafy make a mistake somewhere, as he's now boosting past Average Dad. And doesn't that sound familiar? Boosting down the straight to get ahead. Not gonna say too much about that one, as Average Dad now pulls in behind Heafy and into P6, goes a little bit deep there into the triangle, potentially trying to make something work on the comeback, but I think all these guys are just now starting to find some rhythm and finding some pace as well. 39.5 there for Heafy, so maybe it was actually the lap before that something had happened. But Prying Stingray right now with 2.5 seconds ahead to Ridwan and 2.3 behind to Jono, nearly 2.4, so a bit of a hole that Prying Stingray is finding himself on, and I believe all these guys are on mediums as well, so interesting. Everyone's just kind of naturally migrated to this meta strategy. We definitely saw Tank at the start. He was on mediums and hasn't used too much overtake as well, so a very nice start to the race for him. Ridwan as well, not leaning on the button too much, just a second and a half off of his teammate and going quicker as well. Prying Stingray, a very, very late addition to the field, very skilled operator indeed on the controller, doing an incredible job so far, P3. And here we see, that's not Jono's stand, but that is the Red Bull livery, using a little bit more of the overtake on the mediums again. Jono making his return to Super Formulas, much awaited return for him. Heafy on the soft, so there it is actually, that's the first soft runner, and that's something that I'm sure he didn't want to happen. Being on the soft tyre this early, need to be making inroads on the cars ahead, so Heafy, very interested to see how he goes going forward, and plenty of wear on those soft tyres already, despite only being 4 laps into the race, so that's going to be a tough one to manage for him. And tyre wear, of course, quite high, I think it's 4 times for this category. So these guys are going to have to be very careful about how they manage these Yokohama tyres. As we go back, Average Dad also starting on the medium, so that's actually quite a good start for him. The man who is becoming a little bit of a stalwart in Division 2. Pretty sure I just mispronounced the crap out of that. Doing a very good job and learning a lot along the way. Of course, only been with Rooz a few months, less than half a year, and already making a name for himself as someone who can certainly hold his own in the runner-up division. As there it was, actually Banana Cake Pie bowling a wide there. And he's, what a save there from Banana Cake Pie. I thought that was gone on the exit of the corner, and out of nowhere he managed to regather it. Let's just see what happens here. Headed down the straight, and he's well in the toe of Scozzy. A little bit of overtake being used, and surely this is just a mistake on his own. Into turn 1. Huge difference in speed there, and very, very lucky not to clean him up. Look at that. On the exit. Should have been gone for all money. Very, very lucky to regather that. And to be still facing the right way at this stage is probably a win in itself, as we've got a yellow flag up ahead. So someone's rotated on exit, and just trying to figure out who that may have been. It was Average Dad. No, Average Dad has made a mockery of it. And front wing damage as well, and sways right up his clacker as well for good measure. He's got to be careful there, because that could easily end up going very wrong for both these guys, but done well. And done quite safely indeed. See if we can just go back and see what happened to Average Dad there. As, no, just wide out of the hairpin and drops it. That's a massive shame there for him. He was running so well. As we did see as well, Blaze dropping out very early in this one, unfortunately. So JC Blaze departing us. So Average Dad leaving it all to do once again. And I believe, as we just double check, I believe all of these guys behind Heafy should be on the mediums. That was a change for position, I think, there. Yeah, the Snorksel. Banana Cake Pie is actually on the hard, so that's a good start for Banana Cake Pie, who is close enough to 7th, 8th and 9th, and he should get some reward later on in the race. Greedy sim racing, of course, that spin cost him a little bit. He's on the mediums. Odin as well on the mediums. I'm sure he'll be hoping he was on the hards. Although, wow, what a recovery drive so far for Odin. He's not dropped any time realistically to the leaders. Just over 3 seconds, and he's been carving through traffic. So that's a very, very impressive start for Odin. Fastest lap on lap 4, only less than 4 tenths off of that of Tank. Very good indeed. Archangel here in 13th. On the mediums as well, and Savage Duck starting on the hards. That's a good strat for him as well. Qualifying towards the rear of the field, not going to burn the quick tyre first, and clearly just finding pace lap on lap at the moment. So Hunt here doing very well in the third FR Racing entry. As we go back towards the front, have a look at the first 2 FR Racing entries. Tank there skirting the edge of the Armco as he begins lap 7 of 36. Not even a fifth of the way into this one so far, just past the 10-minute mark. And Tank in control right now has stretched that gap out to 2.5 seconds. As Ridwan as well, just managing to Stingray behind. Similar gap from Tank to Ridwan as Ridwan to Stingray, who in turn has also opened up over Jono Stan. So all these guys just doing a little bit of management. And this is probably a bit of a fair representation of where the pace is at right now. See, Jono Stan actually doing a little bit better on the tyres right now as opposed to Prying Stingray, of course, is hampered by the controller. But a half-second penalty for Jono Stan, so I've got to assume he's probably got that one in the Casio triangle. Not impossible to cut down there, so pretty unhappy with himself about that one. Just these cars popping and crackling on downshift into the hairpin. Flick to Heafy there, who is really burning up those soft tyres at the moment. Still getting some decent lap time out of them. 39.7 last time by, so that's not too far off. 39 flat he got on lap 5, so there is a lot of pace in that tyre. But I think that really just tells you everything you need to know about the pace that we're going to see from Tank tonight. Who I think has got a little bit of confidence and a little bit of motivation to try and take that #1 off his teammate behind him. And you see it there actually from Heafy's lap times. 1.2 seconds down already, so he's bleeding time for sure. I think he'll be thinking about when he can stop and what to do from here. The soft tyre, potentially not the race tyre you want to be on. There it is, a 40.2, so soft's turning to cheese very early, and that's a term that I've used a few times in the last couple of weeks. As we go back one, Scozzy has company. And it Sways AU all over his rear at the moment. That Mercedes livery doing exactly what the Mercedes F1 cars are doing and bearing down on the cars ahead. And Scozzy very consistent with his lap times right now, mid-40s. Just on the high side, and Sways definitely with low 39s capable. So that's some good pace from him indeed. And grabbing the dirty air now of Scozzy. As we see someone back there grabbing a wide at turn 1. Just saw it on the map actually. It was Archangel running wide through turn 1, and Savage Duck as well, who we did catch. Half-second penalty for him. And that's going to hurt him a little later on. Just makes it that little bit harder to go and catch Archangel. As we're checking with Jono Stan, he was the other one with a penalty that we saw quite notably, who has fallen further off the back of Stingray, but importantly hasn't quite fallen into the clutches of Heafy. As I believe he is struggling a fair amount now on that soft tyre. And you've got to assume that was probably the wrong option to go on the softs this early. And just catching up with the YouTube chat. Great call from Bill there. Heafy probably forgot to swap after quali. He had a lot of time to do it, but it is easy just when you get caught up doing other things to totally forget to get it done. As Jono Stan there, right back on the consistency train, less than half a second off of his best. As we're checking with Scozzy and that battle with Sways, which is still incredibly close. Sways closer than he's been onto the main straight now, and surely going to jump down the inside there, rubbing wheels down into turn 1 as he flicks it down and goes into P6. Looks like there was a little bit of contact there as well, potentially under brakes for turn 2 as Sways right out sideways there on the exit curbing. and very fortunate not to drop it. All these guys are on top of each other right now, so Sways, whatever happened there on exit, probably just got a set of dirty tyres on the left-hand side, struggling to get the power down, and it's just going to leave him under pressure for a little bit to Scozzy. And of course, Snorksel in behind these guys, who still has that set of mediums on as well. I think he's probably about got the same pace as what we've seen from Scozzy, but Sways, if he can keep it together, a little bit quicker than these two behind. So there they go, piling into the hairpin together, 6th, 7th and 8th. That's Odin in behind now up to 9th, and the recovery drive continues from him. You've got to wonder, where is the ceiling for Matt Donetti? Clearly the pace is there, but where is the end result going to be? I think he's probably got it over these next 3 cars. Could be difficult to get by them before the pit stops, but it is certainly on his radar. And then Heafy and Jono stand surely where Odin would like to end up. Of course, he'd probably rather be fighting those top 3. As Snorksel here, he's not going to do it at 130R, is he? He's not going to. He throws it down the inside at 130R. Snorksel, who actually runs off the track and just keeps it in a straight line. And these guys bomb it into the triangle, and somehow they're all still going the same way. And you got to think, Matt Donetti probably had a fantastic view of what was going on there, probably holding his breath and almost hoping for a bit of an issue. We did see Heafy there into the pits at the start of lap 10, so had enough of those soft tyres already, gone to the mediums. As these guys, Snorksel poking a nose on Sways, so he wants to go at these guys now. And got Scozzy, of course, that inside move at 130R, as we see Heafy there rejoining on the back of Matt Donetti in 9th position, so didn't drop out of the 10. And it's just a little bit of a dirty air train here going on, so Sways with, you know, a decent amount of pace at the front. But I think Odin's probably going to be the one that wants to get by these guys the quickest. It's all going to be about how to pick them off quickly, safely, efficiently, without having them off into the gravel, as these guys are just clearly slowing each other up right now. 2.2 seconds Snorks was lost on this lap alone. As there you have it, 5-car fight, and we've got a few more cars catching up as well. That was Banana Cake Pie leading, I believe, Greeny, and it should be Average Dad a little bit further back. And Average Dad hard on the overtake as well, so he's trying to stay with Banana Cake Pie. He sees what's going on ahead and wants to try and convert this to potentially like a 9-car battle in the middle of our field. So fair amount going on right now as Snorksel here defending from Scozzy. So Scozzy may be looking at doing to Snorksel what Snorksel did to him last lap, but instead looking in his rear view as Matt Donetti having a go, but Scozzy there looking around the outside as they're all piling into the triangle. There's so much going on. Matt Donetti down the inside of Scozzy as Scozzy gets a helping hand from Heafy, who of course is on that fresh set of Yokohama Advans. So Matt Donetti in on Scozzy, who drops down to 8th. Matt Donetti now in the top 7. Heafy pulls to the inside of Scozzy. Odin to the inside of Snorksel. We're going to see 2 overtakes now into turn 1, and it's all going to stay clean, which is what we like to see. And the order shuffles once again. So these guys ruthless and moving forward. You see it again, Banana Cake Pie leading that train towards these cars. And I believe it could potentially be an 8-car battle if they get here soon enough. But of course the defensive elbows are going to need to come out, especially from Sways if he's going to keep behind these guys. As it's now Odin right behind Sways on his RaceOnOz debut. And a fair amount to do if you're going to keep him behind. See the time loss now from Snorksel. As there we go, Heafy down the inside. Just, nearly loses it on the exit as well. So getting very happy on the throttle there is Heafy. As we've actually seen further forward. Oh, sorry, I thought it may have been Odin who jumped forward on Sways, but wasn't to be. And surely very close in the hairpin as Odin there focusing on his exit. And focusing actually on the AstroTurf. Doesn't really get the best exit. Not going to help him too much on his quest to get by Sways. And all these guys now bleeding so much time. You got to think the mediums, either they're doing so much battling it's not funny, or these mediums are going off far quicker than what anyone expected, as Odin and Sways there side by side through the chicane. And Odin just pulling out of it, not wanting to cause any contact there. And Sways attempting to throw the blinkers on, potentially just with a little bit of Not being impressed there with Odin as they go side by side, and Odin round the outside there of turn 1. Charles Leclerc, eat your heart out, because Matt Donetti's just done your thing. As Matt Donetti there, making very quick work of this pack, and finally back into the top 5. Sways. Might just have a look from the onboard there of Matt Donetti coming down. Out of the final corner. We'll grab the onboard. Sways maybe not too happy. There could have been some contact in the Casio triangle. Sways goes defensive. Matt Donetti hard on the overtake. Thinks, stuff this, I'll just sail around the outside. And what a sailing move it was. Fantastic move there from the Havoline Kmart backed entry. And it's Odin, P5 now ahead of Sways, who has now got Thunder Heafy for company. Of course, fresh tyres on car 83. Why would it be 83? It would be 82. Ooh, moment there for Scozzy. And Scozzy with the big slide through the exit of Spoon Curb. And he's got some company now. So Snorksel and Banana Cake Pie well clear of Scozzy, as he's got a lot of work to do now. And surely, again, thinking about a pit stop, these guys have to be at this stage. Heafy, the only one in this immediate pack on the fresher set of tyres. No one there pitting. Will this group pit? No, they're not. So everyone running that little bit longer, of course. Banana Cake Pie still on the hard tyre, and no need for him to pit. That's quite late there for Banana Cake Pie. They're not going to go 3 wide, are they? They absolutely are, as Banana Cake Pie chucks it in. Average Dad grabs them both, says, thank you very much, lads. I will slide on into 9th, and you guys can squabble for 10th. It was a very, very tidy move indeed. And there's a lot of overtaking going on. So, oh, who was that in the background? That was someone off at Sways. Sways has got rear damage. And I've just hit the wrong button there for that to happen. But Sways off in the S's. And we see it here. Oh, he's already been... Oh, no. Oh, he's been whacked from Average Dad. So it's actually a moment going side by side with the others, potentially. And it's been whacked by Average Dad, who had nowhere to go. Snorksel as well, just crawling around that. So, oh, he's backwards as well. Oh, it's gone from bad to worse for Sways. As we'll just try and see if we can catch what happened through the S's. And oh, it was wide out there. Nearly wipes out Snorksel, and he did actually. So that's what happened. It was awkward from these guys, and then he's just redressed. So Sways wiping out Snorksel, and we'll see if we can't just grab what happened at Degner 2 as well. And it's already happened, unfortunately. So Sways with a night to forget. And it's gone from so good to so bad for the Mercedes livery. Putting in all the hard work to stay towards the pointy end, and it's unravelled all so quickly. Ah, and breathe. There's all lag there from Tank. Decent amount of lag there from our race leader. I was worrying he might have made a mistake there. Or he could be lagging out. That is a lot of lag there from our race leader. And just want to be checking that it's not happening to everyone. But it is most definitely only Tank. This could be a problem. This could be a problem for the young man. I hope he's not about to lag out, because it has been a flawless drive so far. 7.5 seconds over his more experienced teammate. And only 14 laps into this one. We'll just check. That is certainly a lot of lag from Tank. Oh, I don't even want to look right now. I don't want to look, because that would really hurt. Oh, please don't lag out. Oh, I'd just like to see that ride itself, and if Tank can stay in the race, very happy indeed. As Ridbon there, in the pits comes the first of our front runners, and Stingray follows him. So a great stint from Stingray, who was clearly using a little bit more of the tyre than what Ridbon was, and actually did well at the end to really reel him in. So these two in the pits. Jono Stan staying out on the mediums. Still staying quite consistent. And goes through to take P2. It's Ridwan, who has rejoined the circuit in behind him. So the pit delta very short here at Suzuka. And Ridwan's got Crying Stingray, who's rejoined behind him. Odin finally blinks from 5th. So he has peeled in and brought in the IndyCar. And it's Heafy who actually has car 93 of all things. So make that one make sense. And he swept through for P5 in that fresher set of mediums. So Heafy somehow making this one work despite starting on the soft tyre. He's now got Average Dad in P6 after that spin. Banana Cake Pie, who is just salvaging on with the hard tyre. And I think he's going for the big final stint. Greeny Sim Racing again recovered up to P8. Snorks and P9. What's happened to John Stan? He's actually stayed out. Who are we looking at for a rejoin? Completely lost the plane here. There is so much to watch here right now and a lot of strategies, and I'm very confused as to what I need to be looking at. And it is absolutely blowing my mind. As Tank now race leader in pit lane. So Tank pulls the trigger, end of lap 15, just under halfway distance. Still 21 laps to go in this one. And you've got to assume it's going to be a set of the hard tyres now for Tank, or potentially 2 runs on the softs. See what happens. Ridwan bearing down on the back of Jono Stan. It's been the mediums again for Ridwan. So Ridwan, I think, going for the double medium and then 1 short burn on the softs. As Ridwan there grabs Jono Stan going through into P2. And Jono Stan on very, very tired sets of advance indeed. As we'll check in with Tank, who it does seem he is going onto the second set of mediums. So medium, soft, potentially the way to go. And saving those soft tyres for the end. That low fuel load looking quite enticing for these drivers. Stingray here as well, just bearing down on Jono Stan as well, who is becoming apparent is going to try and go long for this one. Jono Stan 16 laps so far on the medium tyres, and he's going to make them work all the way home. Decent gap here, back to Average Dad. Quite a radiant pink on that Super Formula. The chrome really shows itself up quite nicely. Of course, that 33 quite famous. A lot of people would recognise that from Max Verstappen. And I do wonder if Average Dad is potentially a Max Verstappen fan. Bet you couldn't have gone through your Monday night without wondering that. As we see here, Jono Stan and prying Stingray side by side into the Casio triangle. They're still side by side, bumping wheels, and there's still space given between those two. As Jono Stan there decided to call it quits, and into the pits he comes on a very second-hand set of medium tyres. And it's a few question marks now for Jono Stan. What's he going to do with 20 laps remaining now? Is he going to go for the Hail Mary hard stint? Go all the way on a very, very durable set of tyres? Or is he going to go for the 2 sets of softs, or even a second set of mediums here for the Red Bull entry? But it's the soft tyres for Jono, who has benefited from Average Dad coming into the pits behind him. So it's clear air now for the Red Bull entry, and a lot of space to just throw this car around, max attack, and hot lap like there's no tomorrow. Next car on track behind him, Banana Cake Pie, who is still going on that hard set of tyres, so proving hards have a lot of durability in them. And 17 laps still going. There's probably a set of mediums in his near future. So Banana Cake Pie doing it very well so far. He's got Snorksel behind him, who is just skating through the gravel and lagging as well. So a couple lag issues going on tonight. Netcode, not our friend right now, courtesy of Sony, PlayStation and Polyphony Digital. Back to Average Dad, who has actually rejoined in P7 in that Toyota Super Formula. He's got Greeny not too far behind him, P8, who just seems eternally attached at the hip to Scozzy, who in that white and blue CP entry is only a few tenths off the back of the Red Bull driver. Thunder Heafy as well. Don't know where it's gone so far wrong for Heafy. And he's just been lapped, actually, so 14th now for him. And I think it's probably a second pit stop potential that's cost him. Sway's in the pits as well now. And I'm not sure if that is... That could be a full park up for him. I believe it would be. He wouldn't be that far behind on merit. He was a very quick operator indeed. Archangel getting the blue flags as well right now. These guys just have to be mindful as well that the blue flags are there for a reason, and actually Archangel looks like he's going to do a very, very good job there. Pulls very far to the inside and going to give Tank racing line into 130R. Is he going to back off early? I'm not sure he is. He's going to do it sooner rather than later. There we go, pulls off racing line and lets Tank through. So very well done there from Archangel, who is absolutely chewing through his overtake as well, it must be said, as he peels into the pits as well. And that gives Savage Duck a bit of a break now, actually. So Savage Duck, who was 7 seconds ahead of Archangel on the mediums currently, is him, and he's actually just passed Odin. So Odin, who has binned it on the exit of turn 2, and oh, he's not. He's just been clipped by Savage Duck. And he's... Oh, that is heartbreaking. And now he's got the field coming through. Oh, that is absolutely heartbreaking. He got clipped. And Sways has left the room as well. So Sways had enough after his tough race. Here it was. So Mazzanetti in 10th position, throwing it through turn 1 and 2. And he was doing oh so well at this stage, but it looks like, yeah, just a little bit happy there. Unable to catch it into the wall for Mazzanetti. So he goes to rejoin, and we saw it here from the off-board camera, clipped there by what I think was actually the race leader, and it's just enough to rotate Mazzanetti off track and give him the old "how you going?" I'm sure he'll be very chuffed with that, and I'm sure Tank will be chuffed to still have it on the road. That was actually quite a close moment, and something that I thought Tank would probably leave a little bit more room to the stricken Mazzanetti. So he's been able, I should say, to round out Savage Duck that lap. All these guys starting to spread out a little bit more as their tyre strategies settle in and the pace really locks in. And Jono Stan now grabbed the fastest lap of the race. So those soft tyres, absolutely with some happiness underneath them. I think right now he'll just be hoping that he can take these far enough to really get some distance out of them. Wants to be able, I'm sure, to go back onto the softs at the end of the race, which in theory should have the least amount of wear due to having the least amount of fuel load. Everyone just struggling for traction a lot out of that turn 2. And it's always a little bit of a tough one. There's so much motivation to get on the throttle as early as you can, and not many tyres can really live with it, to be honest with you. I think least of so, Banana Cake Pie probably very unable to live with tyre wear right now. You see there, the Super Formula being jacked up. And out on track, just ahead of Greeny, I think it'll be. And there he goes, rejoining P8. Greeny right behind him though. As Banana Cake Pie again, one of the drivers just struggling. Put the power down out of turn 2. Surely the long second stint now from Banana Cake Pie. Onto the mediums, 16 laps to go. And he's got Scozzy in his side. Savage Duck back into the pits, it would seem, from the medium tyre. And he's going to fall back towards Archangel, who in turn has Odin now hunting him down. And Odin as well, who hasn't quite thrown in the towel. So still holding on to 12th place right now, soon to be 11th, as he'll more than likely pass Savage Duck in the pits. Although Savage Duck's come out way earlier than I thought, as he's rounded up by John O'Stan. And Thunder Heafy as well, calling it a day. And I did notice actually that he had been lost from the session running, unfortunately, a little bit earlier. Average Dad there, sweeping through to take 5th as Snorksel the next to pit. And it's such an interesting time right now as everyone just kind of starts to pull themselves into line. Being a little bit more consistent with their driving. And there we go, Heafy actually just saying he's got wheel issues, unfortunately. So it won't be a completed race, unfortunately, for Heafy, so a bit of a shame there to lose him from that one. As Average Dad right over the curbing at Degner 1 and into the wall, so that was a huge moment there for him, and you had to think it as soon as he went over those curbs. There was no coming back from that, as he'll scrape himself out of the gravel at Degner 2 and lose a bunch of time as well. Just want to have a look at that one from on board. He absolutely slammed the curbs, but unfortunate because we're all going so well up to that point. In 5th place, hard tyre underneath him, and you can see he's just chucked it in a little early, bounced off the curb, and unfortunately no way of catching that one. Straight to the scene of the accident goes Average Dad. That was some pretty average driving, unfortunately. Here we go though with our drivers that we've lost. I think we've really found that little gap now between the midfield fighters and everyone else. Of course, Tank now putting quite a gap on everyone behind him. Very, very impressive from the young man. Of course, 14 laps left to go. Still a lot of time and a lot to happen. Probably doesn't help. I think Rid One potentially dropped it last lap. 42.1 on lap 21. Certainly not the race trim time we expect to see out of Rid One. Crying Stingray there, still keeping tabs on his friend up ahead of him. Rock is in the house, apparently. Good evening to the Rock. The Rock has left the building. That was quite an interesting start, yeah. Worth noting, John O'Stan is still within 30 seconds of Tank. Not doing too badly at all. They're just now 30 seconds escaping, and it's a very, very second-hand set of softs now underneath his car. So, not sure I can blame him all that much. Cake Pie, who has taken a little bit of a free kick over the rest of the field. Of course, one of two drivers who began on the hard tyre. Jono Stand in now. So Jono Stand from P4 chosen to call it a day on the soft compound of tyre. Potentially this early into the race. Only lap 24 now. And there it is, medium tyres. That gap after the pit stops between Jono Stand and Banana Cake Pie still opened up quite a fair way. Yep, actually just checked that comment there from Jocken. I didn't realise you were still with us, mate. Hello. Drifting off to sleep here watching this one where I could be chatting to the YouTube chat. Yeah, no, I said it. I swear I didn't check your comment, but that's absolutely a massive gap that's opened up. Realistically, probably your skill gap as well. I mean, the top four absolutely comfortable Div 1 drivers, all of them. Jono Stand, of course, was a lot quicker on the soft tyre than what we've seen on the mediums, that 38 flat. A lot closer as well, so lost about 18 seconds in that pit stop, so not as much of a pit delta as what I expected to see. Still trucking along, still attempting to hunt these guys at the front, but John has actually just made a mistake in there, I'm sure. I heard something that I don't usually there as he came into the triangle. Just took him a while to get back into frame. We'll grab on board here as he heads into the chicane. All good with the braking. A lot of curve there. And he did just light it up, so it was out in the gravel quickly, but very, very quickly corrected. Jono Stand. And look at that. Look at that. That is some overcast skies, ladies and gentlemen, and this would be quite the tease to get some rain right now. Quite the tease indeed. I wonder if we're able to just check the weather radar. In front of us, we can, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a quick look at the weather radar. And this, of course, just takes us from an hour back into current time, so we can potentially see if there are any weather cells heading our way. We're about 15 minutes from current time now. There, okay, so there is a little bit of radar, a little bit of water just up here that appeared, so there's something going on out there. There's a little bit of precipitation in the air. And it might just be enough for these guys to be on their guard right now. And be very, very careful about what you do next, because there could be a sudden downpour here at the Suzuka Grand Prix circuit. Race currently being led by Adam Melzane over our reigning champion Rid1. Made damn sure that he won that one last year. It was a very, very solid performance. It's Stingray's in P3 still, lead controller driver. And he's ahead of Jono Stand, making his return to Super Formula Racing, doing a lot more Monday night imitation games recently as this man, and doing quite well indeed to bridge that gap between what we usually see from the Div 2 guys, or the low Div 1 guys, and what would be Banana Cake Pie and Snorksel, who, mind you, are pretty inseparable in these races. Less than 5 seconds between them at the moment. Banana Cake Pie lapping very consistently mid to low 40s. That is stunning consistency from that man. And more or less the same time from Snorksel. A little bit quicker when he gets it all dialed in. He's got Snorksel not far behind him as well. It's actually the soft tyre for Snorksel, so maybe just trying to make those live for the extra 10 laps. Tell you what, if they don't, he's probably going to have to make another pit stop, which may or may not be the right option anyway, depending on where this rain goes. I wish I had an up-to-date weather radar. There we go, Snorks are being tailed by Greeny, Average Dad, Scozzy in behind those guys, P9. I think realistically, all these guys just running the same pace right now, that low 40 mark. Very cool to see how inseparable they are. Potentially a little bit of traffic up ahead. Someone between Snorksel and Greenie. And it is Archangel. Does a very good job there of getting it out of the way. And pulls it into the pit lane as well from 12th position. It's just not quite close enough for Savage Duck to be troubling right now. Savage, who looks like has potentially made a few mistakes this race. Running quite consistently, getting out of the way there for John O'Stamp. Savage Duck, who he himself is pretty familiar with the super formulas, as he runs it wide and spoon. And we have another moment of the commentator's curse, which I'm just going to flick away from and try to avoid setting on Matt Zanetti. Matt Zanetti there, sparking. Coming into turn one, those super formulas running incredibly low in the rear skid block. Not a huge fan of that at all. Closest shave it's ever had. To Scozzy, who has quite the gap on Odin after that mistake that we saw exit of turn 2. Cost him a bucket load of time, unfortunately. Go on board, Scozzy, have a look at what he's seeing right now. See evidence of those front tyres just starting to complain a little bit about what they are being asked to do. Oh, Scozzy there, little bit too much speed on exit. That's a fair point, Jock. He's certainly not having a night that we're used to seeing from Odin, that's for sure. A few uncharacteristic mistakes. He certainly hasn't been playing as much GT as he used to, which isn't a bad thing, mind you. There's a lot of titles out there, a lot of games, a lot of racing. This man is usually a part of all of them. Eventually, you really do have to trim it down, especially if your social life and mental health is anything to consider. This man, of course, lots going on in the real world as well. He's a busy man, of course, full-time work. It's a thing. is most certainly a thing. Snorksel there actually just pitted for a second set of the soft tyres. He's got a short little burst here, 7 laps into the race on the softs. He's going to be hunting down Scozzy at a fair rate of knots. And he got lapped by Tank in the process, but I'm sure that won't really worry him at all. Scozzy surely got to be thinking about pitting for a set of softs. Average Dad probably thinking he can go all the way on that hard. And Granny's mediums look a little bit better. He's got a lot of overtake left though. Didn't even check that from these two. Scozzy has all overtake left. And Snorksel only a little. Average Dad is completely out of overtake. There we go, Greeny in the pits. Scozzy as well follows him in, so we did say it. We said that these guys surely had to think about the soft tyre, and if they've got any chance at hunting down and getting Average Dad, it is with a fresh Yokohama Advan. So keep an eye on these guys now as they come out. Odin their next car behind, so they've got plenty of room to rejoin as Scozzy there on the soft tyres, but I think Greeny, no, I thought he'd come out on the mediums, but is the soft tyre. Stingray as well doing the exact same thing. It's a completely unrealistic gap for Stingray to try and get rid one. So front tyres are gone. What are you going to do? Bring it in for softs. I'll tell you what, a lot of these guys being very, very cautious indeed with their overtake. Stingray surely going to have a putt at that fastest lap of Jono. Rain seems to have cleared as well. Nothing else on the radar, surely. And Tank in the pits as well. So race leader brings it in. And 14 seconds. I almost wondered if Rid wanted to be tempted to stay out there, try and make something of it. But all these guys clearly jumping on the softs, and they're going to be going for the fastest lap. So Tank comes out, set of soft tyres, and a full tank of overtake. This is going to be ugly from him. He is going to absolutely demolish that 38 flat. Rid one now as well, out on the softs. Stingray, who has begun pumping out the overtake. Lap 32 going now for that 38 flat, I beg your pardon. Jono's going to start on the mediums. He could potentially pit for softs actually. He's got that 23 second margin of Banana Cake Pie behind, but it would be a little bit more of a risk. Maybe something he doesn't want to do while he's in a 4th place position. Still not much going on here. Most of these guys relatively spread out at the moment. Average Dad in chase of Banana Cake Pie in 6th position. He's got a little bit of a gap back to Snorksel, who is throwing in some decent lap times. So 38.9 there from Snorks. He's got time as well on Greeny, who's setting very similar lap times indeed to Snorksel ahead. So 38.8 last time out for this man here. And purple in sector 1 as well. It's Stingray actually, there we go. So Stingray fastest lap, 36.2, just said it. That is a hell of a lap time, all boosted up, and probably not with maximum boost either, so I'll be very frightened to see what Tank and Ridwan are able to do, because they've got full tanks of overtake, all ready to go. There we go, 6/10. Tank has, wow. Potentially on for a mid to low 35 is our race leader. And there's a couple people on top of each other in Casio Triangle. What's going on here? Well, it's a battle for 11th. So Odin and Archangel, but it's also Banana Cake Pie with some awkward traffic behind him. Odin, of course, who will be pumping out lap times and will be flying as well. So there we go, 38.2 last time by Odin, who has found his way onto a fresh set of softs. And Archangel as well, who is probably just pretty happy that he's going to be finishing this one. Clearly able to use that pace to break off from Banana Cake Pie. Tank's just done a 34.9 actually in the last 30 seconds. So there's that ridiculous lap time we're expecting from him. 35.1 from Ridwan. So there is a pace aplenty at the top end of the field. I would almost say Stingray feels a little bit inadequate with that 36.2. Of course, a lot less boost for him getting that. Jono Stan could potentially still pit for another sort of softs and have a go at those 34 and 35 lap times. I think he'd be pretty chuffed to just get it home at this rate. Pace is still very good. Consistency, yeah, those are very good lap times. That lap 29, just about his only lap, 29 and 25 actually. Everything else is kind of mid to high 38s, low 39s, so quite a decent window it's all sitting there. I think that was an overtake. It could have been an overtake there. Scuzzy and Greeny. Here we go, lads. Turn it on for me. Give me something to commentate. Scuzzy and Greeny. Greeny there having a look at potentially poking the nose at turn 2. These two now threading it through sector 1. They're getting blue flags because your race leader is bearing on in behind them on his penultimate lap. But Greeny and Scozzy trying to give this very tired commentator something to watch in the final closing laps. Tank, who has done a phenomenal job this race, hasn't put a foot wrong after getting pole position. Bearing in on lapping everyone from 8th down. Whoa, that was a little bit of a heart and mouth moment actually from Tank and Greeny. Greeny, who backed off in the straight, not sure Tank was expecting that. Makes it through unscathed, fortunately. So that would have been a little bit of a panic. Finish this one out. Ridwan not too far behind, of course. 11.2 seconds behind and setting some decent lap times of his own. Soft tyre underneath him. It looks like it's probably gone for a few quali laps. Exact same as Stingray's. As these guys now onto their final lap, as Stingray does it the long way. And chucking himself in the gravel for good measure. And Jono did actually come out on the soft tyre. So this is going to be interesting to watch. He's got just under half a tank of overtake. lots of grip. So Jono timing this one well. He's got 12 seconds of banana cake pie. And importantly, hasn't been lapped from Tank. So he's got a full lap to just absolutely send this one, and no one ahead of him either. The traffic's perfect, actually. It's absolutely part of the seas. Everyone right now is on the west side of the circuit. So Jono stand now down the straight, opens it up. And this feels weird, almost going to be commentating on a fast lap from P4, but we will quickly go back to Tank, who of course is coming around Spoon now. Final lap, 11.5 seconds to the good. And it's a matter of when and not if, I believe, for this young man who has been so quick in every single car he drives right now. He is just the man to watch. Pace isn't his problem, it really isn't, and it's nights like tonight where everything comes together. And you just sit there and wonder how good this kid is going to be. Adam Elzane takes the victory for round one of Super Formula. It's Scozzy and Greeny side by side across the line. Scozzy just beats him out, but it's Ridwan who completes the FR Racing 1-2. Your reigning champion is P2 for the first round of the season. Prying Stingray, the late entry, is going to bring it home. A lonely P3. 12 seconds behind second, 40 seconds ahead of fourth. Prying Stingray, nothing to scoff at, and a very, very nice podium getter there for Prying Stingray. Jono stand now on his push lap. I think he's already just about out of overtake, but using every bit of track now he's got with those fresh soft tyres and wanting to close the gap in on that 34.9. Of course, did have the fastest lap of the race for a little while on a 38 flat, I believe it was. Nearly 2 seconds quicker now with this lower fuel load and boost as well, helping him along. Beg your pardon. Jono stand, nothing to be upset with. P4 now for the veteran, 35.6 as well, so does actually give that fastest lap a nudge. Not quite to be, as Banana Cake Pie, who went for the simple one stop tonight, hards to mediums for this man and kept his nose clean. There was one off at turn one and nearly an off just there as he gives a little bit of a wiggle to come across P5. And there's a fight, actually. Final lap, Snorksel, who was on the soft tyre, just throws it at Average Dad. And I think there may have been a touch there in the final corner, and Average Dad very, very nicely there decides, you know what, I'll back out of that one. And Snorksel with the final charge grabbed P6. Average Dad in P7. Of course, Scozzy just over the line, less than a tenth on Greeny in P9. And Odin, that recovery drive, gets himself up for P10. But, of course, tonight all about Adam Elzane, Poketus, Tank, who gets the job done and takes the victory. And a very, very nice drive indeed from that man. There it was, 59 minutes, 53 seconds, just under that hour mark that we do try to be hitting. So, very, very nicely timed. 34.9, a grand slam for Tank, who may have even led every single lap. I'll have to go back and check that. But certainly one of the performances of all time from Adam Elzane. Well done, Banana. P5, just happy to be here, but should be happy to be in the top 5. That was a very, very nice drive indeed. And Snorksel, yep, cannot believe you got him there at the end there. Yeah, good of Average Dad to let you go. That was, yeah, a little bit of a touch there. Anyway, another one of those nights, another Imitation Games round, and very cool to have a stacked grid. 15 cars in the end took the start. Not everyone finished. 12 cars across the line by the end of that one. We take a break next week as we have Easter Monday. No racing on Easter Monday, so no time for Gran Turismo. We'll be back again April 13th for WEC Catalunya. That'll be Group 1 and Group 3 cars around the Spanish Grand Prix circuit. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you everyone who will be watching this one back. And thank you to all the drivers, of course, for jumping in and making this one good fun. I have been Viper Z, Liam, and I will see you guys at the next one. Cheers all.